Why do I have to expose myself like this? Hi guys, I'm Lala. Hey guys, it's Lala. Hi friends, it's Kayla. Today I'm gonna go back to OG BookTube and do a book tag. So in 2016 and 2017, I did this tag called the TBR tag, where you talk about all the books you have to read. So that was 3 and 4 years ago. And I'm gonna redo the tag now and watch the old ones with you. We're pulling a Billie Eilish, you know, when she did the same interview 3 years in a row. But I have one from February 2nd, 2016. I never even noticed the date. I haven't watched it or anything, but I browsed the questions. I didn't think of my answers. The last question on the tag is a book on your TBR you're dying to read. And if I haven't read the book that I mentioned in either one of these videos, I have to read them like immediately. That's my game plan. The other one is from April 2017. I'll also put the original down below if it's still live and a thing from so many years ago. Before I show you me from 2016, remember, I was young. I had no full-time job. I'm old and wrinkled and stressed now. So let's begin. First question is, how do you keep track of your TBR pile? Should I answer my answer first, or should I look back at my other answers? I guess I'll answer myself in 2020. I keep track of my TBR just by, here they all are. They're organized by anthology, adult fiction, actually some adult nonfiction, thrillers, and then over there is YA, and over there is ARCs. And then we have my TBR closet, which we don't need to talk about. I don't keep it organized. I just throw things in there that I don't know when I'm gonna get to read. 2016 me, what's up? As far as my physical books, I have an entire double shelf of TBR books. Those are the same shelves. I just bought 2 more and put them on a different wall. I also have a giant stack of just this many down there. Weird. That pile of books got shoved in the closet. I picked a better wall for my shelves. Basically, the way I organize my TBR books is these are the ones that I'm most excited about. Same. 2017 is gonna have the same answer. I have 80 books here, and I have like around 200 books in the closet. I also have a TBR shelf on Goodreads, but that's at like 200 books, and they don't totally match up with what I own. They do now. You're pretty much more organized now. Okay, that wasn't very exciting. Number 2, is your TBR mostly print or ebook? I think I've gone through phases where I do use my e-reader more. Pretty much at the beginning of my channel, and then there was like a couple month period last year I was reading a lot of ebooks, but I don't think I've read an ebook in like 6 months. So my TBR is almost exclusively print books. I only have a couple ebooks that I haven't read. I don't stockpile and buy and find ebooks and then don't read them. I don't change, I guess. The only ebooks that I read nowadays are ARCs, so pretty much my entire TBR is physical. This is not the most interesting video. I think we've learned that like I'm a pretty consistent person. So though what has changed is I barely get ARCs. Compared to 2016, I don't request or accept very many ARCs, especially not the electronic kind. Number 3 is, how do you determine which book from your TBR to read next? So, it's half based on like what I want to read, and half based on what not I'm obligated to read, because I still want to read it obviously or I wouldn't own it, but it's like a very organized reading schedule. It's books that are coming out that month, so I have ARCs of them, or next month, or brand new releases I'm really interested in, or challenge videos. So sometimes I choose my own and sometimes it's completely up to someone else. Actually, it's probably more than half. Most of my reading is just very organized based on like what's coming out or what I want to accomplish off of here. I'm not a mood reader. I don't know. Was I different in 2016? A lot of my TBR is recently released things. Like there's at least 3 or 4 books every single month that are new releases that I read. I don't crack into like older TBR books as much as I should, which is kind of why I started the shelf, so I could walk in my room every day and have a physical representation of my TBR. The only time I pick something that I'm not in the mood for, it's if it's like coming out as a mood reader. Did that make sense? Oh yeah. At this time I was reading a lot of movie adaptations. Spoiler alert, I'm bringing that back a little bit this year. 2017. I decide what to read based off of what's new, and then I decide what to read based on what I've owned for over 2 years. I'm doing this closet unhaul project where I watch my haul from 2 years ago and I have to read all the books that I haven't read yet. I also read any books that are becoming movies in the upcoming like month. What is on this shelf? 3 years ago. Have I read these books? I see Illuminae. I see a lot of books I've unhauled, but I also see quite a few books I've gotten to. Half these books are in my TBR closet now to die, so yikes. Pretty sure there's a question on this tag that's like, is there books on your TBR shelf that you don't think you'll ever read? And I'm scared to answer that question. Number 4, a book that's been on your TBR list the longest. Oh boy. I should probably just watch this to get my answer, because if I mention something in one of these videos and I still haven't read it, then it's still the book that's been on my TBR the longest. I feel like it's gonna be Americana. Did I own Americana in 2016? The book that's been on my TBR for probably like 10 years is The Sound and the Fury, but I only recently bought this. A book that I've owned for a really long time that I haven't read would be Pride and Prejudice. Okay, I've 1, read Pride and Prejudice at this point, and 2, definitely don't own that copy anymore. Let's go in the depths of the closet. Let's see. I've definitely owned Water for Elephants for a really long time, over 2 years. And I feel like I've owned Under the Dome for a really long time as well. Fuck. I haven't read Under the Dome. Okay, listen. I started Under the Dome. I started Under the Dome again. I watched the show. Didn't like the show. Tried the book again. It's not that I'm not interested. Yes, it is. I own Under the Dome and I have no intention of reading it. But that's not my answer for a book that's been on my TBR the longest, because it's not even on my TBR. I put it on my red shelf because I have no intention of actually ever finishing this. But my Stephen King collection is large and beautiful. So next is a book you recently added to your TBR. What an easy question. This is the book I most recently purchased. It's called This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Mohtar and Max Gladstone. I don't know what this is about, and I'm probably going to say that 2 more times as I rewatch myself. I have not been recommended a book as much as that one in the last couple months. Like ever. I just got an ad on my own video. But I think my most recent one I went to the bookstore and got was In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. Oh, I went to the thrift store and I found Only Daughter by Anna Snowextra. That was 3 years ago? It's still on my TBR shelf, not even in my closet. Like, I'm still actively like, bitch, read it. Next question is a book on your TBR strictly because of its beautiful cover. I hate that question because I have to acknowledge the fact that sometimes I just buy pretty books. It's probably Our Homesick Songs. I think this cover is stunning. I specifically didn't buy this book like 10 times. Saw it in the bookstore, didn't buy it because I wanted a different cover. And then I found this cover, I think on Book Outlet, and I was like, pretty. What is this about? Don't know. Am I ever gonna read it? I'm not gonna say no, but like, when? Let's go with How to Tell Talia from the Night Sky and On Beauty. Both of these books I picked up, didn't read the synopsis, had never heard of them before, just bought them because they were pretty, and still haven't read. So, actually I don't even think I own those anymore. I'd have to go with the Penguin Classics. Oh. I have Vanity Fair, Jane Eyre, and Sense and Sensibility. Yeah. but at least I bought them from the thrift store, and I have so many more now. Hold on. Like, so many more. I love this collection. I would say maybe a third of these I have read, but not these editions. I just love my collections of classics, even though I haven't read some of them. Oh, here's the next question that I was scared of. A book on your TBR you never plan on reading. I hate this question. Why do I have to expose myself like this? I don't think I would truly ever buy a book that I never in a million years could imagine myself reading. However, are there books that I pick up and I add just because I want to own them? Most definitely. Oh look, another stack of Penguin classics. I have a problem. Some of these I have read. Some of these I actively plan to read. But then I've most definitely picked up ones that just go with the collection and I don't know what they are, nor do I have any intention of making time for them. If I got to read them at some point in my life, that'd be great. And I might look for opportunities to pick up things. But, the answer is yes, okay? I buy things and I don't read them. I'm sure 2016 me did that too. Oh no. Oh. You know what, you guys? I'm not even gonna try and lie. This shelf is books that I most want to read, okay? But I might have just put this one on here because it was the right size to fit with my really thick paperbacks. I don't reasonably think I will ever actually read Game of Thrones. I just own it. No, that is inexcusable. Not that I don't plan to read Game of Thrones. Maybe you would consider that inexcusable. It's one thing, look at me justifying my life. It's one thing to buy a book because it's part of a collection. It's a whole nother thing to buy a book just because it is an appealing size. Like, what are you doing? I can't believe you said that out loud. Okay, let me just say, if you haven't gone and watched my decade of reading video, it's one of my favorite videos that I've ever made, and I discuss my entire reading journey and booktube as a whole, and I talk about it all. So I think it makes sense that I bought it because I didn't know what I was doing. Please go watch that video. You'll understand me so much better. 2017, Kayla, were you a little more restrained? Wanted to own. So my answer is Outlander, because this showed up in my closet on haul 2 months ago and I didn't read it. Those of you who weren't around for 2017, Kayla, are probably like, what are you doing? Outlander? Yeah, no, I didn't read that, but I also got rid of it, so it's fine. Oh my god. Next question, let's move on. An unpublished book on your TBR you're excited for. So I'm sure at this time I didn't have physical arcs to show you, and I interpreted that as probably how it's supposed to be interpreted. That's just like an unreleased book. Not on your physical TBR, just on your like magical, mystical, imaginary TBR. But I have a physical answer. One of my most anticipated unreleased books on my TBR is The June Boys by Court Stevens. She has written one of my all-time favorite book, so I want to read everything she writes. I'm apprehensive about The June Boys because it's very different, but it's probably, I don't know, it's in like my top 5 most anticipated books of the year. 2016 and 17, could you imagine if I mentioned a book that I haven't yet read? That'd be wild. Oh, I have so many. I have like probably 50 books coming out in the next year or two on my TBR on my Goodreads shelf, but my most anticipated, of course, is The Raven King. Whoa. Aw, you didn't like that as much as the rest of the series. I'm sad for that, girl. I could tell you like a million. I'm probably most excited about anthologies coming out, like 3 Sides of a Heart, Because You Love to Hate Me. What's the other one? Meet Cute, I think comes out in 2018 though. What's the other one? Oh, Welcome Home. I read all of those. This is when I was falling in love with short story collections. I read all of those and I gave most of them like average ratings. Next question is a book on your TBR that basically everyone's read but you. This was probably so easy back in these days. I feel like I'm more selective about what I read. I've more honed in on what I actually like. And for most of the book, ow. For most of the books on my TBR, I feel like I couldn't tell you a single person that I know for a fact has read it. So I guess I have to say Obsidio, just because this is the only like popular YA fantasy on my shelf. What did this girl say? That's easy. Oh. Harry Potter. Haven't read any of the Harry Potters. Everyone and their mom and their grandma and their dog has read Harry Potter. It's okay, you've read the first book now, and that's enough. I like that my focus was still like popular young adult or middle grade fantasy. Is that gonna be my answer in 2017 too? Oh no, I know. Cinder. I have not read the Lunar Chronicles series. I still haven't read Cinder. A book on your TBR that everyone recommends to you. I love that one. You know what I've been recommended a ton lately? Is Into the Drowning Deep, Mira Grant or Sean McGuire. I'm scared to read this because I don't love mermaids, but I want to get more into horror. Everyone thinks I'm gonna love it. 2016. What were you recommended? And have you read it? Ooh, this one, Outlander. Outlander is hugely popular and everyone who reads it totally loves it. That is a book that everybody recommends, but I don't think that many people are recommending it to me. So I don't know about this. Another ad. Get that coin. They're all living together over here. And they're all YA fantasy or sci-fi. Illuminae, A Court of Thorns and Roses, and Six of Crows. I have actually read the first chapter of all of these. I did try a chapter tag and I didn't hate the beginning of any of them, but I definitely unhauled A Court of Thorns and Roses, which many people were upset about. But Illuminae, when I did read it in that video, I loved the beginning. So I can't believe it took me like 2 more years, almost 3, to actually complete it. So good recommendations, you guys. Next is how many books are on your TBR shelf, and I have no idea. It's about 100. And my TBR closet, 200, whatever. I have just under 80 books on the shelves. I have probably an equal number in my pile. And I think I just answered that. All of the books together, I think there's 250. So the shelf and that shelf that I didn't think would be that full. When we built those shelves, I thought I wouldn't fill all the shelves, but I filled all the shelves. So my TBR hasn't grown. It's pretty much stayed the same because I've been reading so much and I've been accumulating the amount of books that, and getting rid of the amount of books. It all just makes it even. Like I always have 200 to 300 books to choose from. The last question is a book on your TBR you're dying to read, and this might affect, I mean, I hope it won't. Is there really a book that I was dying to read in 2016 and 17 that I haven't gotten to? That would be shocking. But if there is anything, then I have to read it in the next month. My answer now, dying to read, is probably my ARCs. But other than that, I really want to read Empire of Wild. This is like a brand new release. I wish I was excited about older stuff, but that one, Sherry Demeline wrote one of my favorite books, and that one has been getting amazing ratings and reviews, so I just want to read it as soon as I can. 2016, Kayla, don't let me down. Probably Night Film by Marisha Pessl. This I only bought recently, but it's been on my TBR for a couple years, and it's a little daunting because it's big and I have a lot of other books I need to read before this. You read it. It was fine. Wow, Kayla in 2016 knew how to just answer questions with one book. When did that change? 2017. Oh man, mostly everything on this shelf right here. But if I had to choose... Oh my god. Pick something you read recently after this, please. I would say Dangerous Girls by Abigail Haas. Because when I bought this a couple months ago, I was so excited about it. And I just haven't... Interesting that both books that I picked in both of these tags are books that I read right after and gave 3 stars and weren't as good as I hoped they were. That's it. That's my TBR tag from 2016, 2017, and 2020. This is my TBR shelf. I usually do a TBR shelf tour every year. Let me know if you want to see that. I genuinely want to know, because I have done like a full every bookshelf in my house tour like less than a year ago. So I'm not just asking to ask, I'm asking if that's something that would be interesting, or if it looks similar enough that you're like, no, do something else. Any other video ideas I welcome, please. It's interesting how every single year I have felt either really inspired creatively or really ambitious with my TBR. And I feel like this year is very TBR focused. I'm really excited about a lot of books, but for some reason I'm just lacking in like video ideas and creative juices. Like, I have so many other things going on. I can't think of what I want to do here. Besides like reading challenges that take weeks or months, I've got nothing. So give me any of your ideas. If you're still here at this point, oh my gosh, what a long video. I love you a lot as a friend. I will see you later. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.